Hello, today I want to talk about crawling babies and what that has to do with how big you create your goals. Hello, Dale Majors here, and welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel and you want to become better tomorrow than you are today, then you want to subscribe. And if you like the content, like it. And thanks for being here. Today, I want to talk about motivation and setting big goals, but not too big. So we're teaching our little baby to crawl, and this was a couple months ago, and we noticed that when we placed something in front of him, just in front of him, and he believed that he could make it, that he would crawl and scoot. He wasn't crawling yet. He would scoot towards the thing. But if we put it too far away from him, he was like, yeah, nah, that's not happening. So it also makes me think about, if you were traveling in the desert and you were totally done and you were thirsty and you were out of energy and you were just dying. If somebody came and whispered to you, hey, Dale, or person, whoever listener, about 7 miles ahead, there might be a bucket of water. It might be kind of hard. You're like 7 miles. That'll take like 3 days. That'll take 2 hours if I'm healthy. There's no way. I'm like dead. I can't do it. You'd probably just sit and die, right? But what if they said, do you see that bucket over there? It's just like 45 yards, or it's 200 yards, or if you just struggle for an hour, you're going to make it there, and I think there's water there. You're much more likely to go and crawl and make it to that bucket of water, right? So you can live and whatever. So what do we learn from that, from those two things? Well, the baby, he wants the little toy on the ground, but if he doesn't believe that he can do it, he's not really going to make much of an effort. And he's not going to crawl halfway. He just didn't crawl at all, right? And I think same thing in the man in the desert. Are you going to go and crawl halfway to make it? Or are you just going to say, no, I'm going to go there if I can make it? So there's some psychology there. And I think that when you're setting goals, that if they're too big and you don't believe them, then it's really hard to put the work in for it. So when I was younger, about 21, I really had some big ambitions for myself. And I imagined that I was going to be able to start a business and that I'd be able to, pay rent and have an apartment and get married and live a happy life and have a family, right? It wasn't this huge, big, ambitious goal, but I painted the picture. I said, I need to have enough to pay rent. I need to buy a car. I need to do this. And my current situation was me sleeping on a bunk bed in my parents' 2,000 square foot home. It's not like I was destitute. This was a great thing. But I didn't want to live in my parents' basement forever on a bunk bed with my little brother, right? Even though we were best friends. I just knew that no, I want to grow up, get married, start a family. That's what I need. So there was a big gap between where I was and where I wanted to be, but I knew the path on how to get there. So yeah, it was a goal. And as I started my business, I came up with bigger goals, to be able to travel all the time. And, I had these big goals, but I believed in the goal. And thus I was therefore able to give it all my effort because I believed in it. So the question I ask you is, if you don't have goals, you should get some goals down and check out our hats video about our goal setting process and make some goals and dream for yourself. It's awesome. But if they're too big and you're always finding yourself come up short to them, then what could you do to make it more likely for you to start bridging that gap? And I would say that if your goals are too big and you don't believe them, then you need to maybe make them a little more realistic, even just temporarily, so you can make progress towards it. Hey, and I'm all for having a big, ambitious, audacious goal. right? Have big goals and dream big for yourself. But if it's too big, if your water is, 50 miles away in the desert and you don't think it's possible for you and you're not making the actions to get there, then you may want to right size those. So yes, I think that your goals can be too big if you're not taking action towards it. If you're taking all the action towards it and you want to, fly to space and learn how to fly in the next 20 years, but you're actually taking action, then maybe in your case, your big goal is not that bad because, hey, it's driving you towards progress. But I think that's the question you want to ask: is, are your goals driving you to make progress and to take action? All right, so thank you for following along. Again, if you're new to the channel, I create videos 5 days a week, all geared to making you better at taking action and getting what you want. All right, that's the end of the video. Thank you for sticking around. And as you'll see, I'd love for you to subscribe, and here are a few other videos that I created, and I'll see you on my next video.